So we define the styles variable. So we'll start with the main style styles.main. Then okay. So for this one, you need to give it a background, no, a width of 45%. So that separates them into two per row. Then we need to give them a margin vertical of 10, a background color of white, a border radius of 20, a height of 40, and a padding of 10. Actually, 10, not 20. Yeah, so that's nice. Then okay, from the design, we have an icon with its own background. So that will suggest that we need to have a view that now contains the icon. And for now, we'll just use any icon. So size of 13. Yeah, that will do for now. Then we need to have them aligned in row. So okay, let me give it a color. Or rather, before that, let's just make them aligned by row. So to align them, to justify content, flex that, align item center, the flex direction of row. So that will do that. So now let's have the icon with the background. So we'll say styles, that icons section. So this will have a background color of, we'll start off with blue. Give it a height of 40, a width of 40, and a border radius of 999. So that's big, maybe 30. So I don't know where it's put along. Okay, 20 or rather 25. Then let's have the icon at the center and align it also at the center. And then a margin right of 10. Then for the icon, we'll give it a color of white. So that you're able to see it. Now, because we have talked about reusable components, that means we are going to reuse this single component for the individual courses over here per category. So that means we'll require a dynamic title, a dynamic background color, and a dynamic icon. So for that, I'll come over here and say the icon name will be dynamic, the the icon background, and the title. So the icon name will come over here, and then the icon title over there. So for the image background, we are not going to use it straight over here, and that's because it's supposed the background color is declared inside the style sheet over here. And because this variable is inside the cost item function, we are not able to access it in the style sheet. But what you can do is we put the styling inside an array. So that will allow us to define the styles that's coming from the style sheet and a custom style at once. So I'll just simply put this in an array. Then after this, I'll create an object, then say background color will be the icon background. So this means that the background will now be dynamic all the way. So now what you're going to do is remove the background color that you have set, the blue one, so that you are going to be using the dynamic one. So now moving on to the courses item. So I had already prepared the individual icon names, background, and title. So I'll just simply comment them in, and the styles should take effect accordingly. And this is what you're getting, exactly as we wanted it to be. So you can see that the first one, all topic, the icon is the flame and its own background color. Likewise to popular and newest and advanced. So that's how it should appear according to our design. But there is one more element that you need to consider, and that is whenever any of the categories is clicked, there should be a difference in the appearance. For example, all topic has uh, a, a blue background, while the rest have a white background. So we can make logic for this that will ensure that whenever you click on any of it will have its own background color. And so what you're going to do for that is to have a state variable, and this will tell us which category has been clicked. And for that, you are going to use an active state. So to achieve that, you are going to require a use state from React. Then we'll declare the state variables. So the first one being active and set active. The new state. We'll need to provide a default one, which will be the first one over here. So all topic. Now, so this will be the first one that will always be the default. And now what you're going to do is we're going to pass the active and set active to all the course items as props, which is what you are structuring at the top over here. So they're called props. So I'll simply come. Okay, let's define that first. So we need active and set active. And we'll look at why we require them and how we are going to use them. So this will take active, and this will also will take set active. Yeah. So I'll do the same for the other three ones. Mhm. Now, once you have the active and the set active, you can now work on the logic over here. So, how the logic is going to work is we are going to check if, okay, first of all, let's make them clickable before we even work on the logic. And like I said, to make something clickable, you just simply use the touchable opacity, which in React Native will make anything clickable that is in it. So now instead of the view, we are going to replace it with the touchable opacity so that the entire item is clickable, which we can confirm when I do click on the categories. Now we can now work on the logic now that they are clickable. And the first logic is that if you have a background in React, you know that uh, we can using the set active part of the state, you can set the active variable to whatever variable we want. And in this case, each individual course item will have its own title. And now the title is what you are going to set as the active state. And that explains why we had all topic being the active one because it's the first title. So I'll just come over here and to handle click events in React Native, we use on press. So when this touchable opacity is pressed, we are, we're supposed to set active the title. So yeah, we are setting the title of the course item as active. So what that means is if I click on all topic will be set as the active course item. If I click on popular, popular becomes the default one. And once we are able to set the individual ones as active, we can now style them according to whether they are active or not. And for that, we'll start with the background color. So we can have it that if I click on all topic, the entire background will become blue. If I click on popular, the entire background becomes orange, and likewise for the rest. Because in this case, if you look at all topic in the design, uh, we took the blue background and everything else became white. So meaning in this case for the popular, we are going to take this orange background and everything else becomes white. So now let's start with that logic. So now for the parent view, it already has a background color white, and so again because we are accessing the icon background inside the function, we are not able to access it in the sprite. So that means again we are going to wrap this in an array, and then we can now define our custom style inside here. So I'll take out the hard-coded background color, and then now I'll say background color. Then we say if the active state matches the current title. So if, for example, the active one is all topic, we are now checking whether the active state is matching the title. So if the active state is now all topic and the title is all topic, that means they're the same. Likewise to popular, if the active one is popular and the title is popular, then you can render a background color based on that. So if they are the same, we are going to use the icon background. So again, if you are familiar with JavaScript, then there's the use of ternary operators, which is kind of a replacement of if statement in a way. So we now say if active is equal to the title, then it will be a question mark. The background color becomes the icon background. And in the case that they are not equal, then we just use the white background. And yeah, we can see because now all topic is the active one, it's having a background of blue. And if I click on popular, you see that it's taking now Popular is now the active one, and because it matches the title, we are using the background, the icon background, and the icon background in this case was orange, and now the whole thing is orange. And for the rest, where the active is not equal to title, the background color is white, as you can see that here. So you can confirm for all of them. So it's working perfectly. Now we need to consider again if we are using the icon background as the entire background, then the rest should be white. So that calls for the icon background as well. So we need to have this condition. So if active is equals to the title, then it should have a background color of white. Else, it will just take the icon background, which you can see here it's being white. Let's look at the other ones. Popular, that works nice. All will take the white background. And now for the icons. Uh, if you look at for the first one, all topic, when the background is blue, it's also going to be blue. So that means that if the if the active is also equal to the title, we're going to implement that logic for the color over here. So I'll just make it an object. And then I'll say if active is equal to title, then I'm going to use the icon background, else it's going to be white. So let's look at that. Yeah, so in this case, when this one is active, it's taking the blue color. Let's look at popular. When it's active, it's taking its color. Likewise for newest, and likewise for advanced. So with that, I think we are done with that logic. Or actually, they are white, not not the way I defined them. So it's the other way around. We should be white, and then else it will take the icon background. No, the other way was okay. It was okay. Yeah, they're okay. So with that, we are done with this part, and this is exactly how it should be. We should render the each individual cost item depending on whether it's active or not. Uh, so in the design, the next part will be we'll call it the video section, and for that again, we need to have a component. But yeah, let's have a video section. So React Native functional export. And actually, if you want it to come with a style sheet, you can add an S. It will come with a style sheet. So uh, let's import it. Then we just display it below. So that's nice. So let's style it. So styles.name. So for this, we'll have a padding horizontal at 20. Then we can now create uh, the individual course components. So because I call it videos, we just say video component or rather course item. No, video item. So the cognitive function, the style sheet. Uh, so let's import it over here, the video section. So import video item. And if you look at the design, you'll notice that this is scrollable because you can see that one part is hidden. So that implies that this is scrollable horizontally. So how you can achieve this is by using a scroll view. So you can just simply import a scroll view and then just wrap the entire thing in a scroll view. And for scroll view, you can define a style user. So for that one, it's called content container style. So that's how we define the styles for a scroll view. Then we are rendering two of them. So two. Okay, they actually mod. You can render even five. But the thing is, instead of okay, let's wait for it to load. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is that they're being displayed vertically, but here we are seeing that they are supposed to be horizontal. So to achieve that, you just simply type in horizontal. That will just make them horizontal. Yeah, that way. And with this, we can now achieve a scrollability in the horizontal direction. So I cannot do like padding of, okay, this should just be general padding, and just horizontal. Yeah. Now let's work on each individual video item. And we'll start by giving them a defined width. So we'll say styles.name. Then you can say each should have a width of maybe 50%. And then for now, just for testing, a background color of red and a height of maybe 30% or rather 40%. Maybe 60%, 70. That's not bad. Then a margin right of 10 or 20 according to the design. Yeah, that's enough. And you can already see that, okay, it should be a number, not a percentage. Maybe 200. Mhm. So that you're able to scroll all the way to the end. And instead of actually a margin right of 20, let's see what you can use that's better. Maybe like a gap of 10, 20. Yeah, that should do. So gap will do very nice. So now let's work on styling them. So you can see there's a border radius of about 15 or 20. Choose 20. Uh, So 20, and then let's have a padding of 20 or of 10. A padding of 10. Yeah. And before we continue, we notice that this is actually it has an image section and a text section, and also we have dynamic backgrounds. So this one is blue and this is orange. So that means again we need to have dynamic variables being required. Uh, so let's have an image. So we just import that from React Native. And so we had an asset that was already available. So just required. The name is user PNG. So the right one. Okay. It would be nice if it were transparent. So let's see whether this will be transparent. So this will be so, yeah, that's better. Then so okay, for now we can have a white background. Then let's style everything now. So first of all, we need to justify the content of the sentence and align the items of the sentence. So that then let's style the image. So we will just style the image. Then so you can give it a height of maybe 100 and a width of 100. Okay, that's tiny. Uh-huh. Then let's have an aspect ratio of 4:3, the size mode of content. Yeah, so that's nice. So because we had already dealt with dynamic backgrounds, dynamic props. So let's do it right away. So let's say background, and then over here we'll pass in a background. And in this case, it's a blue one, which was close to this one. So I'll just get the one for this one. So where the process component was, so this one, I'll pass that in. So then for this one, yeah. So it will have a dynamic background. Then again, they need to be in an array. Then I can now declare the background color. I'll do that dynamically. So that should apply. Yeah, that's nice. Now we can move ahead to the rest of the section. So we have a title, maybe a description, and other stuff. So let's start with the title. So then there is a description. So again, this will be dynamic. So we'll say title, description. So the title will start, then the description. So let's start with this. So the title, the description. So what you have here, digital design thinking. The description created by. So let's look at that. Yeah, that's nice. So to avoid coming up with the new ones, I'll just use the same for all of them and just format them. So now let's give them styling. So we look at this one. The title has a bigger font and is in bold, while this one is with a smaller font and is light. So style. So this will be styles, the title, then styles, that's description. So now the title will be a font weight bold and the color of white. Then for the description, we'll have a font size of 13 and a color of white. Actually, 13 is so big for that, maybe 12. Yeah. And then for this one, we could make it 15. Yeah. So then still reduce this to 11. Yeah, that's okay. Now, moving on to the rest of the section. So you can see we have two items. So that means two views. So right away. Okay, there has to be a parent view because there are two, so that you're able to separate them in by row, and then each will now have it will have its own view. Yeah. So let's define the individual views. So inside the view, we have an icon for each. So let me start by importing icons. Then inside, each of them has a background color. That's the icon that I'm talking about. So in fact, to make this simple, let's just work on one first of all. Then we'll make them two later on. So the first one, we expect to have an icon inside. So let me call this a document, a size of 20. Yeah. Then there's also a text, and the text is actually it's a number source 17 files. But so let's style this before we reuse them. So for this, we have a background color. Okay. not supposed to use inline style. So it's actually a background color of white. So style, then say icon section. So background color, white. Give it a height of 22 or 24. The width of 24. Then a border radius of 7. Justify content center. Align items center. I'll actually use 20 and 20. And then for the icon, I'll make it 13. And that's nice. For the text, it's in white color. So for this, I'll say, let's call it icon title. So this will have a color of white. And then because they're in a row, so this means the parents they will need to have a styling of making the two be in a row. So I'll say styles dot mm, maybe icon tab something. So we'll say justify content, flex stats, align items center, flex direction of row. And then you can just have a margin right for the icon section. So margin right of maybe 5. Now there has to be a margin top, and we'll do that for the parents. Okay, you can actually just do it for the description, a margin bottom, the description text. So you can say margin bottom of 10. That will do it here. So now let's get the other one. So there were two icons, and the second one is a clock actually. It's a clock. So you put in a clock, or is it time? Yeah. Then what's written is time. So 40 minutes. Yeah. So let's also make them be aligned in a row. So this is the parents bit. I'll just say styles dot icons. So just five content space between align items center, flex direction, row. And then maybe you can just say a width of 100%, or rather 90. Yeah, that's okay. So what is common for the two is that okay, this one has an orange background. This one is a blue one. So I'll just simply use what you already have. If you look at here, this was an orange background color. So that will apply for the time icon. Then for the other one, actually this will go for the for the files. Then we're gonna have the blue one. Yeah, yeah, that's looking nice, and it's the same across. So, do we have anything left? No, it's okay.